how many juror or jury votes is required to find somebody liable in a civil case or guilty in a criminal case? Well, it depends. There's a difference between the civil and the criminal court. So let's start with a civil case. In a civil case, the jurisdictional statute establishes the minimum number of jurors that have to be in the jury panel. In that situation, generally it has to be a majority of jurors. Okay, so if you have 6 jurors, you're going to need 4 to vote that an individual is liable, to hold them liable. If you have 7, you're going to need 7 on the jury, then you're going to need a vote of 4. If you have 8, you're going to need 5. Again, you have to have a majority in most scenarios like that. There is no requirement to have a 12-member jury in civil trials. Generally, the state statute or the rules of federal procedure establish the minimum number of jurors required, and it's normally around 5 or 6, normally 6 in most cases like that. But it's strategic in some situations to have more jurors or less jurors, depending. And as you can see, it's probably to the advantage of one party to have an odd number of jurors. Okay. Now, in criminal cases, likewise, most jurisdictions require a minimum number of 6 jurors to sit on the case. In certain federal cases, it is, or particularly Article 1 cases under courts martial, you can have 5 jurors, but it requires unanimous vote that every juror has to find that a party is guilty in order to hold them accountable or find them guilty of the criminal charge. Okay, so this is the difference between civil and criminal. Civil, you have to have a majority of jurors vote for liable. In criminal, you have to have all of the jurors vote for guilty. Okay, if you have one juror who will not vote for guilty, you typically have a hung jury. Now, I do have to say, in certain Article 1 limited contexts, you only have to have a majority of jurors to find criminal liability. But again, this is a special legislative court, not under Article 3. But, so this general rule applies. You don't always have 12 jurors. The only time that 12 jurors is required is in criminal cases that have capital punishment, or in some states, life imprisonment is a possibility. So in those types of cases, the statute often requires 12 jurors, and you have to have unanimous to convict. Again, on the civil side, a majority of jurors and a minimum of the state statutory amount of 5 or 6.